My name is Lucas, and this is the Snapmaker U1. Or does that intro actually make me the Snapmaker? Not entirely sure, but what I am sure about is that this is now my new favorite 3D printer, and in fact, this is now actually my #1 recommendation for anyone getting started with 3D printing in 2026. But it does come with some asterisks. Asterisks that you should know, especially if you are considering getting the U1 as your very first 3D printer without any 3D printing experience whatsoever. Now, first things first, this U1 was sent out to me by Snapmaker in order for me to record this video, but they have not seen this video in advance, and me receiving free reviewing units does not mean that I'm gonna make a positive review. But with that said, to summarize this entire video, just buy this printer right away. That's it. And if you're a complete beginner to 3D printing, and if this is going to be your very first 3D printer, please do subscribe and come back next week when I'm going to make the ultimate beginner 3D printing video specifically for the Snapmaker U1, because there are a few things that you definitely should know if you are getting this as your very first 3D printer. And we're of course going to start with the installation process, which is a bit more of a process compared to some of my other printers, mainly because this is a tool changer with 4 different heads, so you have to do a lot of things for different times, and some of these things are also not the same. For example, with head #1 and 2, 3, 4 have a slightly different installation process. The instruction book is super clear with exactly how you should install it, but you could actually install it the wrong way and you would not get any kind of like issues, and you would feel like it's a perfect fit. So you have to keep it there, and then you need to push it through there, which is super easy, but it's just not something that you think about. And I cannot believe I just installed every single one of these incorrectly. So please do be careful reading the instruction manual and you will be fine. I don't think we need to go into any more details because we have so many more things to cover regarding this printer in this video. So in terms of the actual printer, let's just start with the most obvious right away. The U1 has 4 tool heads, which means that switching between different colors is ridiculously fast compared to only having one nozzle, which is the standard design of 3D printers, at least for now. And what this means is that if you are printing with 2, 3, or 4 colors, this is just going to blow any other kind of single nozzle printer out of the water. This design also means that there's no waste when changing colors, because the colors technically don't change. They're all there from the start in their own respective tool head. Now, I'm going to do a lot more comparisons in some future videos here on the channel, but just to give you an idea, I did print out this Pikachu both with my Snapmaker U1 and with my Bamboo Lab A1. Basically, the reason for all this waste is that the nozzle, since it's a single nozzle, needs to flush out the color before the new color gets in. Otherwise, you will have some discoloration and a color bleed into the print. Whereas, since we do have 4 different tool heads in this case, you don't have that extra waste when it comes to the U1. Now, there are 2 very important things to note here, and that is that if you are printing multicolor prints, you still need something called a prime tower. If you have no idea what this is, don't worry about it. You don't have to know. The slicer or like the software for the printer will figure out all of this for you. In reality, there honestly is no comparison whatsoever. As an example, let's take this Spider-Man here. This specific model is actually something that I have wanted to print literally from the first week I got my first Bamboo Lab A1 and started 3D printing. I was super excited when I first saw this print online, but then I realized it would take me 43 hours to print and cost over 500 grams of filament in total to print this 164 grams model. So I actually never even printed this until now, and until I got my U1. But again, you still have to print this prime tower, so the total filament is actually 255 gram for this now 158 gram model according to Snapmaker, but it printed in less than 12 hours, and that is over 30 hours faster than the same print on the Bamboo Lab A1. And even if I would use my most expensive 3D printer, the Bamboo Lab H2D, which is more than twice the price compared to the Snapmaker U1, it will still take more than twice as long time to actually finish this print. And as you can see on the table here, I have tons of other examples just like this one, and I can literally just sit here for days and just compare printing hours and how much filament I've actually saved by printing these specific prints on the Snapmaker U1. Another thing that is worth mentioning is that just like basically every other manufacturer out there, Snapmaker's own filaments also include RFID tags, so the printer knows right away the type of filament and color you're using. But of course, you can also use virtually any other kind of third-party filament provider as well, which is something that I was a little bit skeptical about when I started 3D printing, because I felt like, okay, if I'm buying like, for example, a Snapmaker 3D printer, I should only use like Snapmaker PLA, for example. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. You can just go with any kind of brand. Overall, the touchscreen, build quality, I usually don't really care about build quality, but I mean, it works. Like, I don't really know what you need. That build quality was pretty good too, still intact. I'm now going through my notes here and realizing that I forgot maybe two of the most important things when it comes to this printer. The first one being like the print quality. And I think, as you have seen already, like the print quality is great. It does exactly like it's supposed to do. I have printed mainly in like PLA, but also in some PETG as well. And no complaints whatsoever. 2 weeks and like 150 hours of testing. I have just used this printer as a complete beginner should have, by following Snapmaker's own instructions. And the other thing that is worth mentioning, not something that I think that I would care that much about, but this is an open source printer, which means that there's already a massive community out there who has already made some extended firmware that just unlocks so much more potential. I am really not this kind of open source / I'm gonna install my own kind of firmware and see what happens and then fix it later kind of guy. I just want things to work out of the box. I don't think I will get into this myself, but this is a massive benefit of getting this specific printer. If you don't care as well like myself, don't worry, just the out-of-box experience works perfectly fine. I'm super happy with this. But with that said, there's still a few things that I wish could be improved that, again, you need to be aware of, especially if you are a 3D printing beginner. Now, I'm gonna split this up into two sections. First, the printer itself, followed by the overall printer experience. So when it comes to loading the actual filaments, put a spool on the spool holder, you just plug it in this little hole here. The U1 here will just grab the filament, pushing it through the tube all the way down to this tool head or to the extruder nozzle area. And then when the time comes, the printer will then push a few more extra centimeters and then actually load the filament into the tool head. It's very important to know that this first little push into the tube and officially loading the filament are two completely different things, because although it's done automatically, unloading the filament is still done by you actually going up to the printer and having to press unloading the filament for those specific filaments or tool heads that you do want to unload. And this is a little bit of a that is very annoying, because it takes like a minute to do, which is not that big of a deal. But if you do want to unload all four at the same time, it's like a 4-minute process, which is just enough time for you to go to the printer, go back to your computer, completely forgot what you were supposed to do, didn't actually start that print that you thought you started the process of 30 minutes ago, and then completely forgot about it. And I have done that like almost on a daily basis. But my main issue with this, also related to this like unloading process, is that if you are actively printing something, you cannot unload any filaments. That means that, let's just say that you have a 12-hour one color print going on with like toolhead number 1, and then you realize like 2 hours later, oh, I want to use like the red color that is like on the spool here. You cannot remove it, because you cannot like unload that tool head, although it has like never been part of that actual print. In addition to this, there's still like 2 other things that I feel it's at least worth mentioning. A main one is that it takes like around 15 or like 14 minutes for the machine to actually start printing, like from you clicking like print to the first piece of like filaments being like on the build plate. It's like a 14-minute process, which overall, I don't really think is that big of a deal. as long as you go into like the multicolor area, you can let this do like a 1 or 2 hour startup time. It will still be faster than any other printer out there. So it's not really that big of a deal. The only issue will be like if you do see like a 5-minute print online, you download it and you're gonna find it very annoying that you have to wait like 15 minutes in order for that 5-minute print to actually start. And last but not least, one other thing that I have seen online is that because this is a tool changer and not using this like AMS system, you are limited to 4 colors because you could not actually add more colors to this printer. Again, if you are going with the extended firmware route and if you do play around with the settings, you can get like infinite number of colors. But if you are talking about like the number of spools you can connect to the printer at any given time, the maximum limit for this printer is 4. Whereas if you are getting like, as an example, Bambu Lab H2D that has 2 nozzles, you can connect 1 AMS unit to each of them, and then you can connect 8 colors, or you could even go up to like, I think like 24 or like tons of different colors. But in reality, you would never do like a 24 color print at the same time because it would just take forever and it would like never be worth it unless you do something extremely specific. And there are also like ways around this as well. So for an example, here we do have a 4-color Pikachu, which has this back little stripes being black, the same color as these ears in this case, and also around the eyes. But here we have the exact same print, but now all of a sudden we have a 5-color print with some brown stripes instead. And basically how this works is that you first load the machine with this brown filament, and then once you have reached above where you no longer need this brown color in this case, you just make a pause in the print, and then you just replace the brown color with black in this case. So the printer thinks it has been printing with brown color this whole time, but you have been sneaky enough to replace it with black, and that is how you can get, in this case, a 5-color print with the Snapmaker U1. And that was actually all the notes I have regarding this specific Snapmaker U1. But now it's time to talk about the main reason, if any, for why you should not buy the Snapmaker U1 as your very first 3D printer if you don't have any 3D printing experience whatsoever. If you already have some 3D printing experience and you know about MakerWorld, you know about Bambu Studio or Orca Slicer, I think you can just skip this next part because I just want to explain like the slicer and 3D modeling platform workflow in a bit more detail for any beginners, since I do think that this lack of just ecosystem is like the biggest drawback if you are considering the U1 as your very first 3D printer. So basically, long story short, don't panic. This will not be a problem for you specifically because you're watching this video, you have subscribed to my channel, and you will continue watching all my future beginner 3D printing videos, specifically regarding Snapmaker U1 and Snapmaker Orca. How this just 3D printing workflow normally works with most other, if not like all other manufacturers, is that they all have their own like 3D printing design platform. Some way better than others, but basically they're all connected to the slicer of that brand, which is like the computer software that you use to just tell the printer what to do. And most of them also have like a phone app, so you can just go on your phone, you choose the design that you want, you pick whatever color you want, you press print, and that's it. And then this whole like workflow has kept all the different printing settings from the original designer, so you would have like the exact same result as the actual designer. And that is like the main issue with this entire like Snapmaker experience, that Snapmaker currently does not have a platform like this. They have said that they are working on a solution and that something is coming soon. I don't know what that solution is. I don't know when coming soon is. So this is like the main issue if you are comparing other printers and like just other printing experiences. But with that said, just the fact that you are watching a YouTube video right now, or if you're doing like any research whatsoever, you will be fine. It is really not a difficult process. First of all, you can just go on all these other manufacturers' platforms, download whatever you want. Maybe you need an account, but everything is like free to sign up, and you can still do it without having an actual printer from these platforms. Or there's also like standalone platforms like Thingiverse, Thanks, and then you just download it to a computer, drag it into the Snapmaker Orca, which is like the slicer software for Snapmaker specifically, and then you send it to your computer, and you are pretty much good to go. Now, I do say pretty much good to go because you might run into some issues depending on the models that you're trying to print. So as an example, after you've opened it up in Bamboo Studio, which again is like connected to MakerWorld and also connected to Bamboo Lab printers, you will see some of these orange settings here on the side. And these are the settings that are not the default settings in Bamboo Studio in this case. But if you are downloading the exact same file, dragging it into Snapmaker Orca, and as you can see, these two programs, they're like, let's just call them identical. There might be some people who disagree because there are like some functions or features that are a little bit different, but there will be one massive difference, maybe, and that is that the actual settings from the designer does not carry over if you are downloading these programs and opening them up in Snapmaker Orca. This may not be a problem whatsoever because maybe the designer didn't change any settings, or this will just cause you to like be impossible to print because there might be some very, very specific settings that needs to be changed in order to actually print these specific prints. So what I have been doing during these couple of weeks of testing, and what I will continue doing for at least until Snapmaker has their own platform, is that I go up on MakerWorld and then I just open up the prints in Bamboo Studio. I then see every single settings that have been changed from the default settings because these are like highlighted in orange. I then start up Snapmaker Orca, I drag in the same 3MF file that I just downloaded, and then I just go one by one and I change to these now new settings from Bamboo Studio. Maybe this is not the best way to do it. Maybe there will be some default settings that are different as well, but I have not had a single problem whatsoever with my countless of prints and 150 printing hours. And if you are a 3D printing beginner and maybe a little bit worried of having the Snapmaker U1 as your very first 3D printer and worried about that learning curve, you don't have to worry at all. Just do exactly what I did. Just download, send it over, and your overall experience will be so much better, and you will also print so much faster and also not waste that much filament as well. And with that, I hope I answered every single question that you might have regarding the Snapmaker U1. If not, please do let me know by leaving your questions down in the comments, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And also do not forget to subscribe to this channel because starting from next week, we will have tons of more U1 specific videos, including the ultimate beginner video coming up that would literally walk you through every single step of the process. And after watching this video, I can guarantee you that you will be up to speed on just 3D printing whatever you could possibly want. And of course, I will also give you some tips and advice on what you should actually print first. But just go ahead, click that link in the description to order your own Snapmaker U1 right now, add some extra colors of filaments, and then I will see you next week when hopefully you received your printer and we're gonna go through every single step of the process all together. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lucas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both. I'll see you all in the next one.